again, and it's a particularly exciting one. At least for me, because again, we are talking about the switch on the microphone, and if you turn it on, wow, then suddenly you are connected. So, yeah, again, welcome to Home Delivery Service here from the Deep Space Home Delivery Studio, one of the great places in the Ars Electronica Center that we can use now so perfectly well for our presentations to bring really the exciting programs of our world to you. This afternoon, here in Austria, it's afternoon, we have a particularly interesting program talking about this year's Prix Ars Electronica. As you might know, just a few days ago, actually, we had the jury deliberations of this year's Prix Ars Electronica. Thousands of submissions arrived us again from almost 100 countries all over the world. And this afternoon, we are going to give you a little glimpse of what was going on in the computer animation. Actually, if you are waiting to get the announcement for the prize winners of this year, sorry, we won't tell you. 15th of June is the date of the press conference. Then we will reveal publicly the prize winners. What we are going to do now in the next minutes is to talk a little bit about what was the general trend, what were the interesting findings, what were the discussions, and of course we will show you some nice examples. And with me is Jürgen Hagler, a colleague of Ars Electronica since many, many years. He is professor in Hagenberg at the Fachhochschule of Upper Austria, and he is our expert in computer animation, also directing our annual Computer Animation Festival, the program that we are also delivering internationally. And I hand it over to you. Maybe you can introduce us a little bit to the jury process. Who were the members of the jury?
Sure. So thank you for the very nice, kind introduction. So, jury. So this was a very special jury meeting this year. I will briefly introduce the jury members. It's always a mixture of different perspectives, and this year we had invited Peter Burr, who was the first time jury member actually, and he got an award of distinction in 2018 with a very interesting project. So it's here in this corner with a virus animation actually. So another person in the middle is Mathilda Laven. She got Golden Nika, the top prize in the category computer animation 2 years ago with Tropics. She's a media artist, filmmaker in the field of using 3D scans, for example. Then it's Mimi Son. She is a media artist from South Korea. She founded together with Elliot Woods the artist duo Kimchi and Chips. Yeah. They got together an award of distinction in 2017, actually. Yeah. When we first met remote on online, she was really curious about the invitation because she does not see actually herself as an animator. She was really at the beginning a little bit uncomfortable, but after the great jury session, she really felt, oh, this is my place actually.
Yeah. So, but we were totally sure why we
yes,
invited her.
Of course,
because when you know their work, it fits perfectly well to the idea of expanded animation that you're always
But this
proposing.
is something that a lot of artists, media artists don't see them as an animator and not their work does not really fit in the category computer animation, and that's an interesting point actually. So again we invited Eric O. He is an expert in animation.
Definitely,
his films have been screened at many festivals and including a lot of awards, Academy Awards, etc. So he's really an expert in animated film, animation, digital filmmaking. And Birgitta Hosea, she is a reader at the University for Creative Arts at Farnham, London. So she's doing research in the field of expanded animation, but also filmmaker with a broader view in animation at all. So this was this year's jury. And of course, we had a very nice.
I thought it was
yeah,
great, really, really great. Especially thanks to the team from Ars Electronica. So I didn't feel any disconnection or distance, surprisingly. So I really felt like we were really talking deeply together without any confusion. So I really enjoyed it a lot. Only thing was I had to wake up super early in the morning. That was one of the things I was having a trouble with. But except for that, I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
Because this was a very particular situation for the jury. Everything was done online, also a very unique experience for us to organize. And we had people in South Korea and on the West Coast, so this was really difficult to bring them together in terms of time zones.
Yeah. So Monica and Mimi-san actually started the jury session at midnight, so this was quite difficult drinking coffee or champagne in the night. So yes, that was of course a huge challenge for everybody who was involved in the jury process actually. And the first session was really, really critical because we started with a pre-selection. We provided a lot of great projects provided them to the jury members, and they had to do a lot of homework. So they watched over 250 projects, and then the first jury meeting actually they started to discuss what is computer animation, what is the category actually, and what is the connection to Ars Electronica, and what is actually the term computer animation, because it's blurry since years, of course. Every animation is done in any kind of digital processes. So this is really a topic that was not discussed this year especially, but since years it's always this discussion, what is the criteria, what is the connection to media art.
And the prize winner is? No, don't tell. So actually we have to tell also to maybe the artists and people who submitted to the competition, the examples that we are showing right now have nothing to do with the selection of the jury. So don't expect to be one of the winners just because we show you today. And also, if you're not shown today, maybe you still could be among the prize winners. So we really keep it a secret. And it's just about to give you an overview of, the fun we also had and the interesting experiences we could make. So what's the first example?
So we'll start with the first example. It's happiness average. It is so we just let's start with 25 minutes excerpt. No. It's not 25 minutes, it's 25 seconds excerpt. It's a project from Maya Gehring, female animation artist from Switzerland. And it starts with a PowerPoint presentation, and you see different charts and column bars, etc. And they are starting to transform, twisting, melting, and you see figures and landscapes. So this is really tackling the truth of data visualization, of forecasts, and this is of course a very current topic, because in the last weeks and months we have seen so many visualizations, and this of course was submitted before the corona crisis, but this is really a current topic. It's great. It also tackles the information overload and of course the misuse and all the troubles we are facing with these visualizations.
Great example.
Yeah, so
Let's continue.
This is an animated short, but in the final selection, we have seen a very broad range, so site-specific installations, and of course, a lot of VR projects. So this is something that we are facing. We have a lot of VR submissions since years, Some are very interactive, or even some are more software where you can create animations. But this is the next project is from Depart. It's an Austrian artist duo.
From Vienna?
Pardon?
From Vienna.
From Vienna, yes. And that's also great that we have an Austrian example. So it's Entropy Gardens.
Okay, so this is for VR. Usually you're supposed to see this with the
and you have gaze interaction, so it depends. The procedural animation is triggered by your gaze.
By looking around, you create the environment.
Yeah. So
Very
this is. I will read a quote from the artist statement. Entropy Gardens is. What is the nature of the post-digital reality, and how can we construct a garden from it? So it's about an archaic art form, gardening, and you can slip into the role of a garden builder and can construct with your gaze a very poetic piece. So it's kind of and these two guys from Vienna have. This is not their first one. We have already. Presented their first VR experience, I think 2 years ago, Lacuna Shift. So this was here at the Ars Electronica Center exhibited as well. So,
do you think this VR trend is still going up in the coming years, or do we see already? I mean, now we are all used to these curves.
Of course.
What's the epidemic rate of virtual reality today?
Of course, the hype is kind of over. But it is still, there are a lot of things to explore, and we see a lot of interesting projects at many festivals, and a lot of artists are using the tools. But I think it's still...
more to come.
More to come,
Cool.
And it's not, maybe the technology is not so much important, it's more how can this technology serve ideas and innovation, telling stories. So that's probably the things we will see in the future.
Great. Next example.
The next example is Bab Scepter. It is also produced by a female artist from France. It is a political statement, a reconstruction of a set that is called, it is a place in close to the border to Morocco. It is not allowed to make pictures there, and it's a reconstruction. So there, at this border, a lot of people are working. They are selling their products, and the artist invited all these people to reconstruct it, to make sceneries out of it.
A veces se trata de tráfico de pan, otras de tráfico de ropa usada, o incluso de tráfico de personas que van escondidas en el interior de un tarba y transportados en la vaca de los coches. Una vez me controlaron aquí. Me pararon para preguntarme qué es lo que estaba dibujando. Bueno.
Oh, cool.
So this is a place at the border where it's actually not allowed to film, to make pictures. And so all these protagonists are really the people that are living there and selling products. So it's kind of connected to Dogville from Lars von Trier. So without any sets, and at the end you see a huge
How long is the total of this?
16 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah. The next example is a site-specific installation, an art piece, actually, underground circuit. This installation consists of 4K, 5K bottom projection with a lot of different smaller captures from the subway in New York. There are different circles. At the outer circle you see the people that are passing by. In the middle you see the people sitting on benches waiting. And in the center there are drummers controlling the movement actually. So you are invited to sit in the middle. It's connected to the four-face Buddha, where you can slip into the role of Buddha and control these insights. And of course it's
and is walking creating any interaction, or
no,
is it just for your enjoyment, so to say, to
it's not
get
interactive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, great. It's really a beautiful piece, and I mean, we see this great variety. So the idea of expanded animation, I think, is really coming true, at least in your selection. But we don't know what the jury selected.
Yeah, this is actually
secret.
We tried to give you a good overview. So this is definitely a trend as well to have to see a lot of installations and site-specific installations. Yeah. So the
last example.
The last example is #22 Xoxo, directed by Sine Otzbiegler. So let's watch the trailer. Yeah, it's an experimental short on the digital parallel universe about social media and online dating. So this is a common topic that we have seen in many other projects as well. So providing or giving us an insight into digital parallel universe, social media, as well as kind of witty and smart perspectives on that, actually. So that was
with a nice retro touch with the old Windows logos and things like this. Yeah. Well, great. We have almost used up our 15, almost 20 minutes. Thank you very much, Jürgen, for this really nice and short and fast journey through the experience of this year's animation jury. Use the festival in September. Ars Electronica will take place in September as planned. All over the world, in the network, in reality, definitely with the prize-winning works that we are featuring. Next week, on Wednesday, we have another preview from this year's, and it actually will be about the interactive art category on May 20th, again at 4:30 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you very much, and if you have questions to our expert, please, now, let's go live. Well, we have several dice, and then we no, it's sorry. It's actually one of the most important things, and it takes us weeks or even months, because the very important thing is we are really striving for diversity. And in particular, Jürgen is so eager to really push this expanded animation and to put a jury together that is able also to find out the trends and the interesting developments. And well, then we have a lot of discussions. And the good thing, of course, is we have a great network. Every year we have all these wonderful contributions. So very often, like this year with Mathilde Lavenne, we of course also invite the prize winners from recent years to bring in their expertise.
and different perspectives. So it's from university, from art perspectives, but also from science and art, media art. So it's great to have different views in this whole process.
And definitely also some outsiders, so to say. I mean, this was the example that you explained at the beginning with kimchi and chips. I mean, people who come from different genres, and I think this is really very important that also the jury has a different perspective. It's always also very important to have people who also really understand the technology behind it, because, I mean, this is a very important part. What is, so to say, the role, the influence of the software, the tools that you use? What is the creative process? So, and that's good. We have 5 jury members, so we get a good ratio.
Yeah, we have another question coming up from actually a frequent viewer already, Eccentriques. She already had some questions with Ali and the Future Lab talk before. She also wants to know which country has the most winners. Is there a statistic?
Yes, we have statistics. I don't know by heart the statistics of this year, but maybe Emiko Ogawa-san, the head of Prix Ars Electronica, knows them.
Well, still we don't have the statistics for the winners per country, but if we say about the submitters and for the whole year since 1987, then it's definitely USA. It's the biggest winner.
And I think second is usually Germany also. That's
yes, Germany and Japan is also highest, top 3 always, and France, something like this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, experts. Thank you for answering my question. Skype is open as well, but nobody really joined here at the moment, so I think we are anyway available on other channels anyway, so if there are more questions coming up, we can forward them to you.
And in particular for Prix Ars Electronica preview next Wednesday. Thank you and bye-bye. Thank you, Jürgen. Thank you, Emiko.
Thank you.